Hello, hello.
Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing great. So, why is the start so hard? Why is it so hard to start exercising? Why is it so hard to start eating right? Why is it so hard to start the road of change and recovery? And honestly, I'm kind of the resident expert on that because I didn't start actually ever.
No, we started a few times and then we'd quit.
It didn't take
We
very
actually
long for us to
were
quit,
very unmotivating for each other for most of our marriage.
Like 15 years of it? I don't know. Well, technically 14 and a half, but I'm convinced that once we get into a routine, it's really challenging to get out of that routine. And in truth, part of the reason why is because if we get into this, you can call it a rut. If the rut helps you identify with maybe the tracks that a Jeep creates when on a dirt road and it's muddy, and then it dries, and that becomes just the rut that the Jeep falls into after the fact when it's dry. And it's pretty easy for that to just kind of suck you in and then just go in that particular rut. And when we have routines that don't involve working out, that don't involve self-care, that don't involve recovery, dailies, anything like that, then it's super easy to just maintain that. But when we decide, okay, I want to create a new set of ruts, a new way of thinking, a new way of operating, if I want to start something, it's really challenging. It's really hard because we're kind of stuck in that rut of thinking, and our brains don't like they don't like to break routine. And why? Speak to that, if you will.
Well, it's comfortable to, even if you're so unhappy, it's still more comfortable to just stay stuck. It's harder. It's hard work to choose change, because change usually is something that requires a lot of mindfulness, effort, usually a plan, support, maybe an investment in some way.
Requires getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And our brains our brains really like cruise control because they like to operate against patterns. And when we have a pattern in place that we operate against, when we create a new one, it's literally hard. And it takes a lot of consistency to create a new pattern upon which our brain can operate, because our brain just wants to have something new so it doesn't have to think.
Well, and part of it is our emotions take over. You want to start something new, and I'm going to wake up every morning at 6 a.m. and that alarm goes off and you're like, oh, actually I'm not today because my kid came in and woke me up in the middle of the night. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Snooze. Then the next day you're like, no, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to do it. And you hit snooze again because I deserve to sleep in. I worked really hard yesterday.
For sure.
It just goes on, and our emotions take over instead of the brain that really wants, you really legitimately have goals that you want to make change, and then we fall short.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. It's pretty hard. So my opinion is the way to start is to allow yourself to make baby steps, and that might mean doing things rather than being all in and just saying, I'm just all in, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it perfect. To just say, I'm going to start out with a baby step. And sometimes a baby step is just, rather than like a spin class that may be an hour long, maybe you're just going to start with doing some stretching for 20 minutes every day.
That's what I did today.
Right? Or just a regular 30-minute workout. Or if you want to start doing some kind of spiritual devotional rather than sitting down for half hour and reading, maybe it's just 10 minutes and you listen to it or watch it.
Can I bring up, we've had many people who reach out to us and they're ready for change, or they're already on their path of change. And sometimes they'll tell us what they're doing in order to make change.
Yeah.
And sometimes it breaks our heart, right? Because you can see the all or nothing kind of mentality of I'm gonna change everything all at once, so that I can make things right. And that's super normal in recovery for both sides of recovery. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna read my scriptures for an hour a day. And then I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours a day. And then I'm going to, what else is it? I'm going to go to 12-step once a week. Then I'm going to go to individual
3 a week
therapy once a week. And then I'm going to go to group processing once a week. And then I'm going to start this shame class because it looks awesome, because it is. But that's too much.
It's not sustainable. the parallel to if you've been in school and you wanted to cram for like a final, it just doesn't work very well, right? Well, recovery, you can't cram for it. What you need is time and consistency at a specific activity in order for time to work with you to change how you think and to change how you act.
Right. So we did baby steps, but I think we also started out kind of like gung-ho a little bit because we were both in group processing therapy. You were in individual therapy. You also were going to SAL, which is 12-step. And then I started going to a church 12-step that I quit. It was a little too much all at once because that was like 4 days of the week, right? That were taken up in recovery. And so I think we did that for quite a while. And then we pulled back, reined it in, and we're giving ourselves enough time to actually process the things that we were learning and that we were processing.
For sure. So if you're the betrayed and you're thinking, okay, why is it so hard for my partner to start? It's because scientifically it's been proven that it's hard to create a new routine. It's hard to create a new pattern upon which your brain can operate. And if you are the betrayed thinking, okay, why is it so hard? It's his issue. You need to fix it. I want to reassure you that there's been collateral damage that you've experienced that requires you to change as well, in order for you to properly heal. And if you're the addicted thinking, dude, I just can't get it. I just can't get it rolling. It's because it's hard. And
you need help.
and you need help, and you need accountability. You need sustainability, and you need something that you can do over a long period of time. And I promise you this, the only way that you can change is if you change from the inside, change how you think, change how you feel, change how you act, change what your desires are. That's where real change is. And that's why it's so hard, because you've got a pattern that you're currently in the midst of and you're operating against and your brain's using as a means to operate.
Yeah.
And you have to change it. And that's not easy, but it's doable.
So here's my final word that I say a lot. Recovery is very much one giant leap that you have to take. That first step is a giant leap. It's vulnerable. It's scary. Sometimes it costs money. It costs time for sure. It's scary. It's hard. It takes effort. But every step after that, what are they?
A million
baby steps. A million baby steps. And they just don't stop. So we don't stop.
It's got to be that way. So have hope that it can change. Have hope that you can heal. Have hope that healing starts with just focusing on today. That's it. So peace out. Have a good day. Just take a million little steps just today. Actually, just take like 3 today.
Yeah.
That's it.
See ya.